Well, hello there, it's Marty, and this is my shop. Wanted to make a little video. I haven't made a video in a while, and I wanted to show my new shop setup a little bit. I did one, well, I've done some other videos. I got some on my YouTube channel. I have my speeches from my college classes, and I did a geocaching one not too long ago, but I haven't done a woodworking one for a while, and I've changed my shop around a little bit and got a few new tools, so I decided I'd show it again, some of the new things I have, and also just kind of talk about how you can be a woodworker too. Anybody can be a woodworker. It doesn't take a lot. I mean, anybody can get started doing it. It's a neat hobby, and you can make some money doing it and make gifts for people. It's just kind of a fun little hobby. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of tools. You don't even have to have much knowledge. And actually, you really don't need much space. And I've proven that. I'm in a one-car garage shop here, and I pretty much have a full shop. So, and I've had less room and done it too. So I'm just going to give a little tour of my little shop here. Here is my one. Here's me. I couldn't decide if I wanted to have the phone. Well, I'm doing it with my phone, with the camera. I didn't know if I wanted to have it on me and then have to lean over and show things, because you can't change in between for some reason. Or do I want to just videotape the shop and put it on me once in a while? I decided to do that because you really don't want to see me anyway. So anyway, okay, so this is my scroll saw. This is my main scroll saw, the main tool of my shop. I do other kinds of woodworking too, but not that often. I mostly do scroll sawing, like the Jesus fish I have there, the Jesus word I have there, my name up there. That's the kind of things I do. And also some intarsia here. That's my new thing I've been doing. But mostly I do scroll sawing. I make lots of little things out of wood. So that's what I enjoy. This is a Delta 18-inch scroll saw. It's a pretty good one. It's used. It's older, but it's really solid and works nice. The scroll saw basically was invented 400 or 500 years ago, but didn't come to the US till 1700s, 1800s. And it's basically like a sewing machine in a way. It has a 5-inch blade. This blade here, just a 5-inch skinny blade, and it goes up and down. And you draw a pattern on your wood, and then you push the wood into the saw, and you turn the wood so that the blade follows the pattern. And that's how it cuts. It's not real noisy. It doesn't make a lot of dust, and it's a very creative kind of woodworking. I just really enjoy it, and it's a really safe kind of woodworking also. I mean, I've taught my kids. The school I've been working at for the last couple of years, I taught a lot of the kids there. I taught some scroll sawing classes, and it's really fun, and kids like it, and adults like it, and it's just kind of a fun hobby. You can make some incredibly creative, wonderful things on the scroll saw. So that's kind of what I do. I scroll saw. I have a chair here, and I got a foot pedal down there, so I can just push the pedal, and it runs the saw, so I can have both hands on my workpiece. I need to get a light, put a little extra light on top of it. I should do that sometime. But that's kind of my setup. I have it tilted at an angle. The scroll saw is already at an angle, but I tilted it even more. It's just, I've learned that it's easier to cut accurate when you can look down on the piece. You know, when I sit in my chair here and I look down at the piece as opposed to going like this. So it's kind of nice to have it at an angle. And most scroll saws nowadays, they actually build them like that, where they're at a slight angle. And I just got some goofy audio stuff up there. I got my old radios and an old scanner and old little TV. I got a garage sale recorder. I just like that stuff, and like to have my music on, and some pictures. And this wall here is just hand tools that I have. I don't use hand tools a lot for too much, but now and then I have to use those too. And there's my little library. There are a lot of books I've collected over the years of woodworking. Lots of magazines, mostly scroll sawing magazines. I really enjoy reading them. Getting a new magazine, it's just kind of fun to see different new things that people are making. People are always thinking up new things to make on the scroll saw. And it comes with patterns too, so then I can have more things I can make. I get more pictures over here, and then my clock with no hands on it. Doesn't even have a motor anymore, but it's always woodworking time. It's always time to be in the shop. And then my picture of Jesus. Somebody sketched that, and I got that at a garage sale years ago, and I just thought it was really kind of neat. And there's Tim Taylor from Home Improvement. Real men don't need instructions. That's true. I mean, it's better if we read the instructions, but we don't really need them. But yeah. And that's my miter saw, miter saw station. I have that built there so I can put long pieces of wood on and slide them. If I got to cut anything. I haven't thought of a good place to put lumber in here. I mean, I have storage for little stuff. I mean, I have lots of wood under here. I mean, a lot of that is somewhat organized. Actually, a lot of it is already traced and ready to cut on the scroll saw. And then I have bins of wood under here too. But as far as long stuff, I don't have a good place. I just got some oak and poplar and no place to really put it. But I mean, I have lots of storage up here, but we have stuff stored there. And all that would be nice to have wood storage there if we had a place to put all that stuff. But we need storage for that too. So, but I don't know. If you have an idea, let me know. If you see a place I don't know. Maybe I could put a rack. You know, maybe I could put a rack above the garage door. Something where I could put my long boards. Not sure, but. And then I have just bins of different things, nuts and washers and bolts and hardware, different screws and stuff. And I actually I was making Adirondack chairs. They're kind of fun to make. So I made templates for making those chairs. So they're kind of fun. There's me and my lovely wife Marilyn. And there's my precious kids, Hayden, Nikki, and Danny. Forgot their names for a second there, just kidding. And different things. Yeah, and when you have a small shop, you really got to organize well. You got to have places for everything. This here, talk about having a small space to do woodworking. That's a 18-inch Craftsman scroll saw. And it's the very first one I ever had. My Uncle Don, actually there's a picture of Uncle Don right there. He gave me that one. My Uncle Don and my Grandpa Mord, that's my Grandpa Mord's jacket. When he passed away, I got his jacket and his tape measure suspenders. But Uncle Don and Grandpa Mord got me into scroll sign years ago, back in 1992, 93, along in there. And actually that little Christmas portrait of Mary and baby Jesus is one of the first things I ever made. And but when I first started scroll sawing, I didn't have a shop and I didn't even know that much about woodworking. But they gave me that scroll saw and I put it on the floor of my garage at our apartment and I started scroll sawing just out of scrap wood, making different Christmas ornaments and little cutouts and puzzles and stuff, and that's how I started. And then what I did was I brought a pallet home from the workshop, I worked in a wood shop then, and old pallet, I brought it home from work. And I put legs on the pallet, and then I put that scroll saw on the pallet, and that was my first workbench. And then I just started making workbenches out of scrap. People gave me different tools, or I got them just cheap here and there. I mean, you can get decent tools for woodworking on Craigslist and Facebook, and I mean, that's where I've got most of my stuff. I really have. I mean, I've only got a couple of new tools. Most everything else was used, and they work great. And you can get some good deals. So you don't have to have a lot of money, and you don't have to have a lot of time, and you don't have to have a lot of knowledge to do woodworking. You can get started with just a little bit. And then over the years, I've had different shops, and they keep getting a little bit bigger. But, you know, right now, the place we're in, we have a nice little place here. We live on the lake, but it's not real big, and I just have a one-car garage. And so that's my shop. So if you just organize your space, and you can have a nice little wood shop and a place to build things in a small space. Anyway, that's my miter saw there. There's my little drill press. Just got not too long ago. It was like 25 bucks. Works good enough for what I do. There's my router. Had that for years, and there's a lot of things you can do on the router. Well, first, drill press. Okay, if you don't know what drill press is, it's just for drilling holes, basically. I mean, I use it for making cribbage boards and drilling holes in different things that I'm going to scroll saw. Making little peg games, all kinds of stuff. It's just nice to have a drill press because it can drill straight holes pretty easy. I mean, I have hand drills too, but a drill press is handy. And the router, there's tons of things you can do with a router. Amazing, really neat things you can make. And I haven't really learned all that yet, but I just have a round over bit in there, and I just round over things with it mainly. That's basically what I use my router for. But I have lots of router bits, and I have books on it, and well, maybe someday I'll learn to do some other things with that. And I have a couple of sanders here. I have a big bench sander here I got years ago, because I just like the big flat space, so I can sand bigger pieces that I make. And then I just got this one. I think this was about 10 bucks on Craigslist. It's a bandsaw. or it's not a band, it's a band sander, belt sander, whatever you want to call it. Belt sander, I guess, for doing small stuff. And it has a table here. I haven't even used it yet. I have an idea though. I took, this is another disc. That's the disc sander there on that belt sander. On this one, there was a belt here, and I didn't need a new one, so I took it off. I'm gonna figure out a way to put a big, like a drum sander on here, and where I can use it for contouring small parts for doing intarsia. So I'm still kind of brainstorming on that. There's a bench grinder I bought just not too long ago. That was new, but it was only like 40 bucks or something. Because I bought this, and this is only 30 bucks from a friend of mine. It's a mini lathe. I've always wanted to do lathe work. This is actually a branch. Just started turning that a little bit, and I'm still learning that and watching videos, so I haven't done much of that. And it's a small one, but I've always wanted to do some small lathe work, so I do that. So that is that there. And then I have lots of, not so much hardware, but wood parts and craft supplies up here and just different things. And here's my automotive corner. So we have our automotive, actually this whole little corner here is automotive and paint. So I have paint and stains there and automotive stuff. And there's a garage door going out. And there's my shop chair where I kick back and take a coffee break. Speaking of which, love my coffee. Anywho, okay, so then we come around here. Well, I have that workbench there, which is piled with stuff. And actually here, I'll show you right here. I'm starting to do intarsia. Intarsia is another form of scroll sign, and it is really cool because you can make beautiful things. And that's a picture there of a mother loon and her chicks in a scene there. And then here's the pattern for it. And I have a bunch of other patterns here, things I want to do if I can get good at it. Years ago, I did a couple of Viking intarsias and gave those away. But I haven't done much since. But I thought I'd try it again. But it's really neat because you can really use a lot of scrap wood. A lot of really nice small pieces of hardwood you can make intarsias with. And they're just beautiful. You just need little pieces. When I make things, I like to make hardboard patterns. I'll show you real quick here. Well, okay, here. Started making wood spinners, little fidget spinners, so I made a pattern. So then I can just trace on wood and make a bunch of them. And then I made some other patterns here. They didn't turn out real well, but I mean, they spin, but not real. Anyway, fine-tuning them. But anyway, they're kind of blocked here, but let me see. Okay. So I like to make, I like to make thin hardboard patterns of things I make a lot of. You know, here's just some patterns of different things that I make a lot of. And I actually had to scroll saw these to make these patterns. These were out of hardboard, but then you can just it's just thin hardboard, and then you can just set it. Let me see here. Grab a piece of wood. Sorry. So then you just put the hardboard pattern on there, and you can trace it on the wood. That's just the way I like to do it. Not everybody does it that way, but I do. So I have lots of hardboard patterns. I mean, I have thousands, and they're underneath here. Well, you can see them, but I got just... Anyway, I got a lot of hardboard patterns. That's what I use to, if I'm going to make something, I grab my pattern and I just trace it on the wood. What most people do, I think, is they take a pattern and make a copy of it, and then they spray adhesive on the wood and put the pattern on there, or they trace it on the wood. That's one way to do it, but this is just the way I like to do it. I like to have patterns. Unless it's something I'm not going to make any more of, I'll put the pattern on the wood with adhesive, but otherwise I'll make hardboard patterns. So this intarsia, I think I might want to make more of these. So I decided to make a pattern. So I took the pattern here, that pattern, and I traced it on hardboard, and then I cut the pattern out, and then I cut all the individual pieces out. These are all individual pieces. So that's my pattern. And here's my intarsia. I know it's not done yet, don't worry. But actually it's really neat. I mean, and the pieces don't fit totally perfect. I mean, it's a learning thing. I need to learn to be able to do this better. But the thing is, it's not done yet either. So now I take each individual piece, sand the face of it, but also you round over the edges, so it has a soft look. Like right now, it kind of looks like a puzzle, but when the intarsia is done, it has more of a softer look. All the pieces, all the corners of the pieces are rounded, and then you glue it together and put it on a backer board, and then you seal it. And they really are cool because, like this here, this is all different kinds of wood. You don't really do much painting. It's pretty much just all natural, and then you stain it. Like the trees are cedar, the sun, or the moon, I think it's the sun or moon, is pine. And then all of this here is different shades of poplar. And this is oak. The beaks are black walnut. I think the lily pads are cherry. And then there's these cattails. These little cattails actually stick out of it. I'm going to do those. I'm going to do the cattails out of purple heart, I think. So anyway, that's intarsia. It's kind of another form of scroll sawing. There's just lots of different things you can do on the scroll saw. So yeah, so that's my main workbench there. And now I got lots of hand tools down here and a vise, and that's a lot of leftover scrap that I'm going to use for intarsia, and that's garbage. And then let's see, so I have that, yeah, and then I have another bench here, and I actually have a table saw under there. I need to get a better table saw. I don't do a lot with a table saw, but when I do, I want to have a better table saw, a bigger, better table saw. So, but I have a small one under there when I need it. And then I just have lots of stuff here, things I got to put away. I kind of cleaned the shop. It's pretty organized, but I still need to organize, put a lot of that stuff away. And then I have another bench I just made, just a little bit lower. And this one's not on wheels. Almost everything in my shop is on wheels, but I didn't want this one on wheels because I want to build this, if I'm going to make my Adirondack chairs or bookshelves or anything bigger, I wanted a solid workbench, and this is really solid. I can sit on there and stand on it and jump on it. So that's kind of my solid workbench for doing bigger things. And then I have a backup scroll saw. Here's my Q3, my Delta Q3. That's another 18-inch, and that one's a really nice one too. Just nice to have a backup if my other one dies, because that's happened in the years past where it broke and I was building something, making something for somebody, and I couldn't finish it. So I picked that one up, and it was like $25. That's like a $300 saw when it was new, but it cuts just perfect, just like new. And there's a smaller 16-inch scroll saw. That's a Craftsman, and that one works nice too. So that's, I guess, my third backup. So I got 3 scroll saws. But then I got these down here, so I have 4 of them down here, and I just pick them up. They're not much. Sometimes they're free. Sometimes $25, $50, and then sometimes they work great just right away, and sometimes you gotta fix them up. But I fix them up and give them away and stuff. So then I have a lot of things that I've already made. Just different things: nativity scenes, pocket crosses, Christmas ornaments, business card holders, Jesus fish, hugs, prayer crosses, marble games, and wood fidgets and crosses and peg games and brain teasers and things that I like to give away, that are small things that I can make fairly quickly. I try to have an assortment of them already made. I might have 20, 30 of each thing in some of the bins. So that's kind of my little storage of things that I try to keep a stock of. So yeah, that's pretty much my shop. That's pretty much all my tools and my work area. It's not real big. It's a 1-car garage, and I have my whole shop in here. But I make some neat things, and it's just kind of fun. It's a fun hobby. You make a little money doing it. You can make some wonderful gifts for family and friends. And you can be a woodworker too. It doesn't take much. You can pick up a little scroll saw. This scroll saw right here, that one there was maybe 150 brand new. I got that one for $25 on Craigslist. It's like new. Works great. I've even got them cheaper and free. Look on Craigslist, look on Facebook. I mean, you can pick up a scroll saw. I mean, you can get tools pretty cheap. I mean, you can go buy a brand new too if you have the money and stuff, but you don't have to. So you can start out with just a little bit. Doesn't take a lot of money. Doesn't take a lot of knowledge either. You can learn to scroll saw. You can learn to do intarsia. You can learn to make different things out of wood. Watching videos on on YouTube is a good good source nowadays. So you don't need a lot of knowledge either, and you don't need a lot of space. You can start out small. A lot of my workbenches I've made out of scrap. I've gotten tools given to me. I've bought, just for a little bit of money, and the wood too, for that matter. I buy wood now and then, but I get free wood from cabinet shops when they're throwing it away, and people give me wood and they just don't need, and I make a lot of small stuff, so I don't need big pieces of wood. So it's a fun thing to start. It's a fun hobby. It's a way to be really creative, and gives you something to do if you're looking for a new hobby, a new way to maybe make a little money, something to teach your kids and different things like that. You can do it as a family. Woodworking is kind of fun, so you can be a woodworker too. It doesn't take a lot, and you can do it. So anyway, that's kind of my shop and what I've been up to, and just wanted to make a little video here. And so pass it along, share it, and comment, and whatever you want to do. I'm actually going to change the name of my YouTube channel. It's been Wooden Words with Marty, but I'm going to change it. I'm not sure yet what the name will be, but I'm going to make it simpler. Easier for people to remember. Anyway, get out and enjoy this beautiful day God has made, and cherish every day, and use your gifts to help other people and to glorify God. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. See you later.